Hey everyone, I just wanted to say that this is part one of a two-part episode. You'll hear later on in this episode that I say something like, if it's pretty long, we're going to need to do two parts, and it ended up being about 2.5 hours worth of recording just with everything that we wanted to talk about in this episode. So keep in mind this is part one. Part two should be uploaded hopefully pretty soon after this episode is uploaded, depending on how fast I can get around to editing these things. But yeah, I just want to let you know this is part one of this episode, and we'll see you in part two. Thanks so much for listening.
There's a couple of things on there, buddy. You might want to get checked.
Yeah, well, I mean, honestly, can't think of a better way to start it. So, ladies and gentlemen, what's going on, my hot poison gamer girls? We're back. We're fucking back after like a year and a half. Over.
Solid time.
A long time. A lot has happened. Basically, life got in the way of, making a podcast. I don't know about you guys, but like after, I guess, the United States decided to stop caring about COVID, shit just got really busy, and I had a lot of stuff I all of a sudden had to do. Like finish school, move a couple times, it's pretty crazy. Everything. So didn't really have time to edit.
Since the last episode, I was just thinking about that. I just realized this now. Like, this is the first episode we've done since I've moved to China.
No, the catch-up episode at the end of 2020, you were in China.
Right, I forgot about that. I was in China for that too.
Yes.
Okay, well, since I've properly lived in China, I've pretty much just arrived in China then.
Right.
Dang, we got hoes in different area codes.
Yeah, we do. I mean, even I feel like we're even more so spread out as a group of guys. We're kind of.
Yeah, we got some nerds in Colorado.
Yeah. We got.
No one's on West Coast though, I don't think.
No, not
right now.
I don't think so. Sam was close, but now he went further west. So you went west, you went east.
Now you're east.
Yeah, pretty much.
So.
Lol.
Well, we got Adam out on the East Coast.
Yeah, we have the other three United States time zones covered.
Yeah, I moved from Chicago back up to the Minneapolis area. I'm gonna miss Chicago a lot, but it's also much cheaper to live up here. So
true.
Yeah, must be nice.
Must be nice.
Must be nice.
We're struggling up here, boys.
We're struggling. We're on the midst of another recession, and life is great, and I'm just gonna ignore it and crack open a cold one and talk about video games with my boyos. So hell yeah.
And I'm still a grad student. They don't pay me anything. Okay.
Totally ruined the vibe of my can open there, bud.
I know. Sorry. I had to get that out there. Yeah, grad students unionize. Woo! Okay,
Yeah.
there's my political spiel.
There we go.
Nice. That sounded nice, crisp.
Yeah.
Hot.
I'm trying one of these for the first time. It's one of those hard Mountain Dews. We're gonna see how this goes.
No way.
Wait, did you send a snap of that in our group?
I did. I tried the Baja Blast one. It was pretty decent.
Okay,
This
how
is the
was
regular.
that? Okay,
It was
actually.
It was
I don't
actually.
want to try one.
It wasn't bad. It's like. It tastes like a little bit sweeter, not like a lot sweeter Baja Blast. It's definitely not something you can just crush. I think.
Okay.
Just because I think you'd it has no sugar in it, but it's still pretty sweet to the point where I feel like you'd probably get a stomach ache. But
wait,
it's
thought you were
really
joking.
nice on a hot
These are
day.
a real thing.
Hard Mountain Dew, dude. Look it up. They've got 4 flavors. They've got regular Mountain Dew, Baja Blasts, and then two other strawberry or some
Love
shit.
to bring some to your cabin.
Yeah, dude, definitely.
I'm never coming back to America.
That's the reason why.
I'm never coming back.
I don't
Holy
believe you.
shit. Oh my god.
These are it's actually pretty decent. So I'm gonna be sipping on this the episode. So some opinions are probably gonna get pretty hairy here, but what can you do? So basically, the plan is for this episode, we've got about a fucking year and a half worth of news and games to talk about. So honestly, we should probably just get right into it. The sneak peek for next week's episode, though. I shouldn't say that. Sneak peek for the next episode that we'll do whenever we have time to do it. We're going to be reviewing the Disney Plus series Obi-Wan Kenobi. This show has basically been a Star Wars podcast anyway, so We're going to be
Yeah, pretty much.
chatting about that next week. And then after that, we're going to give our review on Elden Ring. I don't think Adam knew that, but we're going to do a big Elden Ring episode
Ooh,
within
alright.
the next few weeks here.
You gotta finish the game first, homie.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, so I'm still in the capital, so we'll see. I ran around the other day, and then I was just like, oh, I killed a couple of those kind of hard knights, and then this fucking worm snake creature just shoots up and one shots me, and I'm like, no, I don't want to play this game anymore.
Valid.
So I gotta work
Yeah,
the courage
that
up.
sounds about right.
But yeah, so I didn't even put Elden Ring on my games to talk about. But so first piece of news, Elden Ring finally came out and is really living up to the hype, I would say. I didn't put the most stock into it, and I don't want to touch on this too much, but it really, for me, lived up to what I wanted it to be, and I'm not like a huge Souls type fan, but I really enjoy the game.
Yeah, I think there's a lot more to be said. Obviously, that's why we're gonna have a whole episode on it. But like, I was thinking like this game was hyped so much more than even Cyberpunk was. So if it didn't live up to the hype, there'd been like a whole generation of, gamers and weebs who would have just fucking offed everyone else and then themselves shortly afterwards. So I think it's good that it turned out it was a great game.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. Adam, I don't know if you have any short thoughts you want to share on Elden Ring before I hop into this list here.
My first Souls game, absolutely fucking phenomenal. Loved it.
Yep.
I feel
Easily,
Go ahead.
Easily my game of the year.
1,000%. I feel like the only thing that could dethrone it at this point is God of War Ragnarok, and that's still on the fence as if it's going to come out this year or not. So we'll see. But yeah, great fucking game. Honestly, I know we'll talk more about this in that episode, but I think it might be one of the better Souls games. I feel like to introduce new people to the genre. Maybe.
Completely agree.
That will be we'll debate about that a little bit when we get into it in the next couple of weeks here. But yeah, so we're gonna go back towards I've got a list here of some of the biggest news from 2021. At the end of that list, we're gonna go through all the big games that were released. Not every game, but a lot of the big games that were released in 2021, and then we'll get into this year and talk about that. And we'll probably wrap it up here talking about everything that was announced at like Summer Game Fest, the whole not E3 event that happened this year. And yeah, and so just because of that, this might be either a really long episode or a two-parter. So be on the lookout for that.
Right.
Okay, so getting into it. These are in no particular order. This is the shit I found interesting. Starting it off here, with 2021, Star Wars EA exclusivity is coming to an end. They had a 10-year deal.
Hooray!
Yeah, fucking finally. They had a 10-year deal that it's going to wrap up here in 2013. And so any new Star Wars game that isn't being made by EA is going to come out in 2023. But EA is doubling down, I guess, making new Star Wars games, but they've only really have, I think, 2 in the works. I think they've got the sequel to Jedi Fallen Order and another FPS Star Wars game. So we'll see. But other companies are starting to make Star Wars games, including Ubisoft. They're making an open world game, and then Quantic Dream is making that Star Wars Eclipse. I'm frankly really interested in Star Wars Eclipse. I have no idea. That game the trailer looks really fucking cool, but the rumors are we're not going to see that game at least until 2025, which doesn't feel like a real year,
I'm really excited that the Star Wars EA thing is ending. I mean, granted, with towards the end of that, with Star Wars Squadrons and Fallen Order, right? I think they actually finally figured out how to make a couple of good Star Wars games.
Mm-hmm.
But granted, neither the Quantic Dream or the Ubisoft Star Wars games really seem that interesting to me.
Yeah,
Ubisoft making another open world game. Not really.
You get kind of worried because I don't want it to be Assassin's Creed or Watch Dogs in a Star Wars skin. I want it to feel like a Star Wars game and be a new experience. And yeah, I mean, that's why I think the Quantic Dream Star Wars game, the same studio that made Heavy Rain and Detroit Become Human, that's the one that sounds more interesting to me because excuse me, I feel like that's the one that can go a couple different interesting directions. But Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've always kind of like had a love-hate relationship with those Quantic Dream games because
Mhm.
like both Heavy Rain and Detroit Become Human have parts where it's like, damn, this is really like neat stuff. There's really interesting narratives things that they're playing with. And
Mhm.
then there's also parts where it's like press X to push the swing.
Right. Grab the
So
dumpster
I
and
don't
move it around.
exactly like so I don't know. We'll see. Obviously, it's going to happen in 2025, and who knows if the planet will still be intact by then. But
Right.
anyway, more Star Wars games is not necessarily a bad thing, right?
Yeah. And like
It
we
just
said,
means there's more likely to be good ones.
right. And we're gonna get way more into Star Wars here next week, so be on the lookout for that. Moving on from that, another 2021. I don't know if you guys remember this, the GameStop short squeeze. Yeah, this happened when a bunch of fucking meme lords and Zoomers and gamers figured out how the stock market worked, and GameStop stocks reached record highs, and people made a fuck ton of money off of it.
I made $50 whole.
Let's go, dude.
Quick fucking go, man.
I personally, if I would have gotten in, I would have gotten in on way too late and spent like $300, and it would have been bad. So I did not get involved in that. But if you want to learn more about how that situation looks, go watch a YouTube video on it, because I don't think any of us are really going to have anything good to say about it.
I think only thing I've got to say is that I think more accurately, a bunch of gamers realized that the stock market doesn't work and fucking they played with it.
I thought it was fucking hilarious.
It was really funny.
It really is.
All these hedge
It's
fund
really funny.
bastards, like
Oh
getting
my
their
God.
asses fucking reamed by just people
was
who
funny.
like thought it was funny, but then they ended up making a ton of money anyway. Man,
Or
that-
losing a bunch.
or
Some
losing a
people
ton of
want
money, too.
fuck fun.
There were heroes and losers and villains on both sides there. Going on from that, did you guys know that Rockstar put out a remastered for the GTA trilogy, like the original trilogy last year? And it
Yeah, I
Didn't
remember
they
it-
do that like 3 years ago too, and then like did it again 5 years ago? And
well, they're not like Skyrim, Bethesda.
aren't they just remastering the same GTA fucking 5 game for the last decade?
Yeah, that's
No,
true.
no, no,
but
this is something
this,
different.
This
This
is the
is-
first.
Oh,
three.
it's different this time. Gotcha.
Yeah, it's-
Oh, the first. Yeah.
So
So
it's
yeah,
the same but different. But
same
like,
thing,
They-
same
well-
core concept. You know.
right? But they said they're trying to make the games look better, but honestly, like they look awful.
Yeah,
They look so bad with this new art style that they're going for. Like it's actually hideous.
it really is. And the game's kind of launched, and from what I understand, of an unplayable state, unfortunately. So it just shows that it's kind of becoming a norm, even with studios that we once held in incredibly high regard, like Rockstar or Bethesda or anybody, or now CD Projekt Red, that like they're just totally okay with putting out these half-baked games, saying that
Yeah.
they'll update them later to fix them, which is really
Yeah.
unfortunate.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's just another reason not to pre-order anything, right? Just like. Anyway.
Anyway, moving on from that, we're probably going to talk about this quite a bit, or I should say Activision Blizzard quite a bit. But in 2021, they were sued by the state of California for unfair business practices and terrible workplace culture. Women at the company, were paid less and discriminated against, and they described it as a, quote, frat boy culture with a lot of, unfortunately, sexual harassment. Developers and employees of the company were striking and protesting. Many left the company, including Jeff Kaplan, the Overwatch director. Although
RP
he left
Worst
the
day of my life.
company, yeah, he left the company in April, and I think shit started to go down in May. So I'm curious. I think he probably got word that
There's no way he didn't know.
ship
There's
is sinking,
No way he
and
didn't know.
he wants
Yeah.
out. So the SEC is still investigating, from my understanding. And the most fucked up part about all this is that the Wall Street Journal says that CEO Bobby Kotick or whatever knew of the sexual assault allegations years before all this came out, and he actually tried to quietly settle those claims without notifying any of the board members of Activision Blizzard. So that's pretty fucked up. And yeah,
Fucking garbage.
So-
It's garbage. It's
Yeah.
a garbage company.
Mhm.
Like I understand that they have made some of like, for some people, the most beloved games ever, and for more practically, like some of the most successful games, some of the like highest grossing games, obviously.
sure.
But it's like when you see a company like Blizzard doing this, and also a company like Riot that also is going through, unfortunately, an all too similar thing with this frat boy culture and sexual harassment and just like very clear misogyny from almost a top-down corporate culture perspective. Like, I don't know what you do. Like, this isn't a Blizzard problem. This isn't a Riot problem. There's clearly issues in like the gaming industry and the gaming culture that go beyond, 14-year-olds saying the N-words in a Call of Duty lobby, right? It's obviously a lot worse than that. And so it's really crappy that, it's really crappy that we keep hearing about it, right? And I'm almost certain that this is not going to be the last company.
No, it definitely won't.
No shot.
But on the flip side of that, at least we're finally hearing about it and people are starting to do shit about it, because, 20 years ago, we probably wouldn't have heard anything about this kind of shit,
Right.
Oh, that's true.
I very much agree with you, Sam. But I'm hopeful that the signs that we know about these as consumers and that like there are people that are reporting this and being brave enough to report this is that it's a sign that hopefully things are improving, or at least people aren't scared to report these kind of things anymore. So, yeah, that's kind of all the time I want to give that topic because it's been talked about enough, and we'll get back to Activision Blizzard, yes. But fuck you, Bobby Kotick, whatever. I hate you.
Piece of shit.
You made fucking Jeff Kaplan leave.
Yeah. So fuck you. Moving on from that, do you guys know the game Star Citizen?
Did I don't think I've ever told you this, but I actually backed Star Citizen.
Oh,
you know
really?
when I backed it? I backed it in 2011.
Holy shit, dude! Star Citizen has been in development since fucking Nom.
Jesus fucking Christ.
I backed the Kickstarter of Star Citizen. I paid me and my friend, and I was like a freshman in high school. I was so excited because space game, and I wanted to play a space game. And that's when I realized Kickstarter can just take your money and not fucking give you anything in return.
Yup.
Turns out, so.
Yep. Yeah.
So,
So Sam was one of the 3.3 million people that have backed the game so far, and Star Citizen in 2021 has officially reached over $400 million in funding. So yeah, that's fucking crazy. But
it's
Wild.
it's weird too though, because now I'm seeing on like my YouTube feed more and more Star Citizen videos. Now that might be because the algorithm knows that I'm interested in the game, so it's going to show me all these alpha builds and shit like that. But it does appear that some of the content creators that I like are starting to get into it too. And it looks, from what I've seen, like I probably watched an hour and a half worth of footage on the game. It looks like it could be pretty fucking cool. I don't know. I'm not going to give them money because they don't fucking need it. But we'll see if the game actually ever comes out.
I admire the optimism that you have now because I felt the same way 7 years ago, dude.
Or fucking 11 years ago when you funded the game.
I mean, seriously, I was a child when they announced this game.
Mm-hmm.
And I have then in that time finished high school, finished college, and have worked 4 years in my career.
Right.
And they're still saying stuff
in
like
2 different countries.
yeah. Like I could like I know people who in that time have gotten married and had kids. And they're still there like charging people $300 for a spaceship.
Right. It's fucking unreal.
God damn.
I am beyond like caring. Like I have given that $40 away so long ago that like if the game comes out and it turns out to be the second coming of Jesus, I'll just be like, I might try it.
Right.
But it's just I'm convinced at this point the whole game is like a big old pyramid scheme where they're just gonna keep raking in money. And like they're obviously paying people to do stuff, but there's no game. There's a couple of really fancy looking tech demos that you can only play if you have like a 3090, it seems like. But I'm not holding my breath.
Yeah.
Because if I held my breath for 11 years, I would be very dead.
Yeah. You never know though. Maybe this game will come out before the next Elder Scrolls game comes out. We'll see.
Maybe it'll even come out before I finish my fucking PhD.
Maybe. You never know. Moving on. Oh yeah, actually, quick pause there. Everyone say congratulations to Adam. He defended himself well, and he is an official PhD candidate. Am I correct?
Yes, but more importantly, Graham also completed his master's degree, so claps for Graham.
Thank you. I did.
Yeah,
Adam-
good job, guys.
Adam and I are both really smart boys. Sam-
I'm kind of a fucking moron. I don't know about you, man. I'm an idiot.
Smart in our respective fields, maybe.
I do a little bit of math.
Yeah, there you go.
That's about it.
Specifically
sometimes
intelligent is a good.
Yeah.
It's a good term.
Good term. But yeah, so congrats to me and Adam. Moving on.
Yay.
Uh,
Good job, us.
Hey, good job, us. Halo Infinite finally came out after a lot of crazy ups and downs with the development process and all this different news that we heard about creatives coming on, leaving, coming on and leaving, it getting delayed a whole fucking year. But it finally came out. Getting cummed on. And it finally came out. And I think the biggest news about it is that it's a pretty good game. The multiplayer is free to play, which now begs the question, because Halo is probably one of the biggest, if not the biggest franchise to embrace the free to play model. So it begs the question of, because Halo set the standard of putting out a finished game and making a whole chunk of it, a decent chunk. I mean, like people like me and Adam who just play the multiplayer, like making a big chunk of that free to play that begs the question: do we think other AAA studios are going to start thinking about doing the same thing? Granted, they do have obviously a battle pass system, and there are some good and bad things about their battle pass system. One, I think the coolest thing about it is that, regardless of when you bought the battle pass, you can just go back and finish it whenever. There's no
that is pretty cool, yeah.
set amount of time that you have to finish it like traditional battle passes, but they also take 5 fucking years to level up.
Also that, yeah.
That's the flip side to it. So I think it's definitely a really cool idea. It has its pros. It definitely has its cons. But hey, Halo Infinite came out and it's pretty fucking fun.
Yeah, I think after Halo 5, right? I mean, I'm a huge Halo fan. I've been a Halo fan all my life. For you dear listeners who don't already know that, but Halo 5 came out like 7 years ago, and the campaign was a travesty, an absolute disaster. It was just bad. It was just really, really bad, and the story writing was just not good. And it took a big chunk of what made the Halo stories good and just tossed it in the dumpster. But the game was fun. And so Halo Infinite, I think a lot of people were really, really scared about what they're going to do with the campaign. And I think the free to play was the right decision because when you talk about the gameplay of Halo Infinite of itself, yeah, it's good. It's really good. I would say it's my favorite gameplay of all the Halo games. It's really good.
Infinite.
And Infinite. Yeah, I would say just the moment to moment gunplay, weapons, the tools that you have, it's really well done. I would say it's my favorite. Battle Pass is slow, but I don't really care about Battle Passes. It's not really my thing.
Sounded like you said Battle Pass.
Battle Pass.
Battle Pass.
But I guess the Halo community is garbage, so I don't really take much.
What gaming community isn't garbage nowadays, dude?
But
excuse you, I think the Overwatch community has the utmost respectable individuals of any field of ever.
That's the funniest thing you've said to me the entire time I've known you, dude. Jesus Christ. I thought you were gonna be like, the Vampire Survivors community is pretty fucking wholesome.
Okay, unironically, yes, because I know of 4 people who play that total, and we are wholesome as fuck. All right.
The game's on Game Pass.
Vampire Survivor is pretty tight. It's a pretty tight game.
Okay, now I know 5 people play it, and we're all great. That's the entire community because nobody else has heard of that fucking game.
Maybe the developers play it. I don't know.
I hope they're pretty cool.
I think with Halo Infinite, the big problem is, it's been about 6 months, 7 months since, no more so, almost 8 or
game came out
months since the game has come out.
November, I think.
Okay, so 8-9 months ish.
Yeah.
But there's just hasn't been a lot of content. The campaign was great, I think, but it was really short, and there's still no co-op.
Right.
You still can't play it co-op, which is
SMA
the thing I play Halo for.
Right.
And they have only released a couple of maps, and the game modes have been kind of slow. So if there's only one thing the Halo community is right about, it's there isn't a lot of content, especially for a free-to-play kind of service-style game.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, those losers on Reddit don't know that they can just stop playing the game. They can just play something else.
God, fucking Reddit nerds.
But
Holy shit.
I don't know. I mean, my opinion, overall, game good, game fun.
Right.
I would like more of the game, please.
Yeah, definitely. And it's tough now that we're like, we want more content, and they're like, but you got the shit for free. So I don't know. But $60 for a campaign seemed a little steep for me. But I mean, hey, it's on Game Pass, and if you don't have Game Pass, what the fuck are you doing? Game Pass shows its value so well.
I don't
every
have
day.
Game Pass. What do you mean?
You should get
What are you
Game Pass,
doing?
dude.
I'm so poor right now, dude.
You can't, dude. You have tattoos up your fucking butthole.
Yeah, that tattoo money is sitting in cash in my fucking
cash.
envelope in my
Dude,
binder.
You're like a
Are you
grandpa.
dealing drugs?
No, it's because I took it down to Texas with me, and then that shit hit the fan, and
Oh,
I just
that's
haven't
right.
put it back in my bank.
Dude, I will.
$4,000 strapped to my chest.
I will. Jesus Christ.
Oh my god.
I will pay for 1 month of Xbox Game Pass for you, my guy. And
No,
you
it's,
can,
it's fine.
yeah, you can.
You
It's
can get 3
$10 a
months
month.
for $1, dude.
Yeah.
It's like when you first sign on. It's pretty tight.
Or you can even wait until fucking Starfield eventually comes out, because then I think it'll be pretty crazy.
I'll just be done with my PhD by then.
This
Theoretically,
episode was sponsored by Microsoft, by the way.
Oh shit,
Right.
that's Star Citizen. Damn it. I
Starfield.
was trying to talk shit.
dude, come on, man, get your
Fuck.
space games
Fuck.
in a row here.
What about StarCraft, Star Wars, Star
Fuck. It's Trek. Damn. it.
Trek?
All right, moving on. Battlefield 2042 finally came out and fucking shat the bed.
Dog shit.
Terrible game. It's
What
so
the fuck, man?
launched late 2021. It's
So
a terrible,
bad.
buggy mess. Still costs $60. Well, it's half off on the Steam sale right now, but holy shit, it's bad. As of today, I checked. Only 28% of user reviews on Steam are positive.
Oh no no
It's been reviewed like a million times.
Oh no.
It's terrible. Don't play Battlefield
No.
2042. And fuck you, DICE and EA, for putting out another half-baked game. Like, I get it. Okay, no, I don't. But like, like Battlefield games in the past, like, when was the last time a Battlefield game launched, like, completely finished?
Battlefield Bad Company 2.
Yeah,
I
and
was
how
just
long
about to
ago
say
was that?
that.
Like 12, 11, 10 years?
07, I think.
Oh,
I
seven?
think it was about the same time I backed Star Citizen.
Yeah, exactly. So like we're kind of used to it at this point, like Battlefield games launching not fully cooked,
Oh,
but
it's
at
like
least,
2010.
but still, that was 12 fucking years ago.
12 fucking years ago.
Like it. What the hell happened? Why is it all of a sudden okay? I mean, I know why it's okay because we keep fucking buying the games.
Microtransactions.
Money.
Yeah,
That's
fucking
the thing. Like the
rage
game was terrible.
racing.
The game was terrible. Everyone said it was terrible, and they still made a poop load of money on it. So
Right.
Also, I feel like the entire concept of like the supply versus the demand, like we are also just so desperate for new shit all the fucking time that I feel like we as the nerd communities are putting pressure on all these like actual nerds who are trying to make a good game, but that shit obviously takes a lot of fucking time
Right.
that we might not be giving them, but also then just I don't know, just don't fucking just. And I know it's probably also like the CEO nerds and like the fucking business assholes who have no idea how like much time and energy like making a game takes.
Right, and there's
And
like
they're
fucking
all
put
like,
it
oh,
out.
get this shit done by next week, and it's something that would take like 2 fucking years to finish, but they just want to like make their fucking quick buck.
Right.
I don't know. I feel like it's a bit of both. Of the whole, we are very demanding as the community, but also fucking annoying people are in charge and have no idea, and their heads are just so far up their asses that they are living in Kuwait apparently.
Yeah, I mean, we saw it happen with Cyberpunk 2077. Like, we know, like, there were all these devs there that said, this game isn't ready. We shouldn't be putting it out yet. But it was all the suits at CD Projekt Red that were like, no, we're going to put it out because we know people will buy it. And people bought it, you know? So,
And spoiler alert, it was fucking trash.
right. So, like, it's crazy. And so I get why, I understand the logic as to why it happened, but it's frustrating that it keeps happening. So I'm hoping, I mean, we're seeing it now, like, if you look at all the new games that were announced at like just these past couple of weeks alone during the quote E3 unquote, like there weren't that many new games actually announced, right? And I think that's honestly because we're starting to feel the effects of COVID, you know, because not a whole lot of developing got done during the heat of the pandemic. But also, I'm thinking more developers are weary about putting out half-baked products, you know, because of the backlash some of these other games have gotten. I'm hoping that's the case. Maybe not, but, you know, one can hope.
Yeah.
One can hope.
One can hope.
I don't know about you guys. I wish that when people say that their games are delayed, that they stop giving us time windows. Just say your game's delayed indefinitely, and then let us know it's coming out like fucking 2 weeks before it comes out.
Yeah,
and
we'll forget about it.
Right, we'll forget about it. Just say it's
Like,
delayed
don't give us,
indefinitely.
if there's no date, I'm gonna forget about it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, don't give me a date. I'll forget about it, and then when you're like, hey, we're coming out next week, I'll be like, fuck yeah, I forgot about this. I'm excited.
Right. I'll be hyped as fuck.
Nintendo does a really good job with this for the most part, and I think Bethesda used to do a good job with this. But like, you know, Nintendo would be like, "Hey, Nintendo Direct, welcome. Yeah, this game's coming out next month. Cool, enjoy." Or like when Bethesda was like, "Hey, Fallout 4. By the way, this is the first you ever heard of it. See you in September," and it was like June. And
right,
like, I don't need to know about like with God of War, for example, like. I don't need to know about God of War if it's not ready to come out like in a couple of months. I just don't really need to know. Because the only thing that does is it makes people overly excited for the game and get unrealistic expectations.
Seriously, like we knew Elder Scrolls 6 was in development, or they were thinking about making it, and E3 2018 is when they announced it. They announced that game 4 fucking years ago, and we found out like last week it's like still kind of in pre-development. 4 fucking years. Why did we need to know this game was being made? We didn't.
Yeah,
like wait. Oh my god! I thought
like
I was like, what do you mean, dude? It came out like in February. I was thinking it's Elden Ring. I was like, what the fuck?
Oh my gosh. No,
Elden Ring.
But I think that's clearly like a pressure thing from like the corporate marketing offices. Like, we need to prove to them that we're doing something.
Right.
So we need to announce this game.
Yeah, and like the pressure of like think about it, realistically speaking, Bethesda stole the show of E3 2018 by announcing they were making another Elder Scrolls game, because like really for a while no game was topping Skyrim until like Breath of the Wild came out, until like Elden Ring came out, you know? So
and even now Skyrim's still awesome.
Skyrim's still awesome, but I think Bethesda's starting to show their age a little bit. So I think there's a lot of pressure riding on
fucking boomers.
I think there's a lot of pressure riding on Starfield to show that Bethesda's still relevant. But we'll get into Starfield in a little bit. All right, moving on. A couple fast headlines here. RuneScape turned 20 years old last year.
Woo!
Happy birthday, Adam.
Yay.
Amazon canceled a Lord of the Ring MMO they were making, which I didn't know they were making until they canceled it.
I didn't know they were making
okay
it
with
until
that.
now canceled it.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that. I love Lord of the Rings more than I love my parents. Hi, Mom. Please don't listen to this episode.
I'm going to send this to your fucking dad, dude.
Please don't tell Martha. No, for me, that's one of those IPs just in general where
just like, don't fuck with it.
If you can't make something that's like knock it out of the park good, like don't touch it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's fair, and I kind of wish some people had that opinion about Star Wars games, but, you know, whatever.
Yeah, well, with Star Wars, there's always been incredible high highs and just dog shit lows. So sure. I've already accepted that.
Right. Moving on from that, Roblox made a fuck ton of money last year. Their profits went from $4 billion to $29.5 billion in 2020. And then when the company went public last March, so March of 2021, that figure rose to $45 billion. So Roblox is making a fuck ton of money. And what I've heard, though, is that unfortunately they don't pay their developers well, like at all. So don't give Roblox your money. I know that's hard for all of us. And this is basically a Roblox podcast, but, you know, we really got to try, guys.
Let's be real, though. Like, well, just one quick comment about is that, like, what's incredible is just that demographic that plays Roblox is almost entirely in like middle school.
Right.
At least as a middle school teacher, that's what I observe.
Yeah.
So it's incredible the amount of money, like purchasing potential there is from those kids' parents.
Right. It's unreal. They literally made so much money. It's fucking crazy. Ugh, whatever. Moving on from that. Unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on your point of view, cryptocurrency and NFTs had officially made their way into gaming in 2021. The big piece of news surrounding this was Ubisoft. Ubisoft made an experience called Ubisoft Quartz, where players gain digits, which are Ubisoft NET. Is it Ubisoft or Ubisoft? I think we've had this conversation before.
I say Ubisoft.
Ubisoft.
I
I'm
don't think
gonna say
matters.
Goobisoft. So Goobisoft Quartz are there. It's an experience where players gain digits, which are their own NFTs that are like playable in game and stored on a proof of stake or POS blockchain. All right, now bear with me, guys. Seriously,
God.
bear with me here. So the POS protocol. Well, this was only in one game, Ghost Recon Breakpoint. And the POS protocol was apparently offered a more advanced and environmentally sustainable alternative to the typical like NFT and cryptocurrency blockchains, which I guess that's nice because I know that's one of the big concerns with like mining cryptos and NFTs is that it takes a lot of energy. So it's terrible for the environment. But moving on from that, this shit ended 4 months after it started. The website says it's still in beta, and Ubisoft says that there are still plans to update their Quartz beta and bring it into some of their future games. I hope to God it's not in that fucking Star Wars game they're making, but it's probably going to be. And Ubisoft confirmed that the last NFT that they made was released on March 17th, 2022. So it started end of 2021, made its way into 2022, and did not last long at all, which I'm happy about because fucking.
Let's hope it stays dead.
Fuck you, NFT bros. Fuck you, Elon Musk, you absolute degen.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Valve blocked pretty much any game that uses blockchain. I'm pretty sure. Good. Someone can source me on that. Let me know in the comments if I'm incorrect. But
I saw that too. Yeah.
So good for you, Valve. I don't get it. I know that there's like some appropriate uses of NFTs for sure, but like I don't want it in my games. I don't want to feel like I need to play for money in my games, you know?
Yeah, fuck that.
Yeah, we don't need that. There's already enough like predatory practices for getting people's money in games. NFTs are not going to make that better.
Definitely not. There was an MMO, I don't remember it, but it was like the whole point, it's free to play, but you can get NFTs in the game. So what happened the first day it launched? All these people made a bunch of fucking bots that are just there to play the game to get NFTs, and it's very exploitive and it fucking sucks. So don't do it.
Don't do it.
Moving on from that, Amazon Games finally launched their MMO New World at the tail end of 2021, and that faced quite a bit of struggles. The game still sits at a mixed rating on Steam, at about 67% of user reviews are positive, so like more than half, more like a decent chunk. And I put about like 40, maybe about 40-ish hours into that game. The grind in that game, like the grind expectations are crazy. It's really, and for the amount of grind that they expect you to put in, there's a significant lack of content. At least there was when I stopped playing, and there were a lot of cheaters, people who figured out the game's exploits and made it not fun for everybody else. But since then, there were several updates since the launch. I'm thinking about getting back into it, maybe. I don't know. But like I said, it was a crazy grind. Like, I put 40 plus hours into the game, and I was in the low 30s for my level, and the 60 is the max. So like they were expecting me to put at least 80 hours alone just to get to max level.
Some fucking rookie numbers, bro. Come on.
I know, but it was like
play RuneScape.
But the thing is though, like I feel like if you're gonna ask me to grind for that long, the grind needed to be more fun. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you need a skill cape at the end.
Right.
So, okay, honest question, because we talked about RuneScape, we're talking about New World, but just in general, right? MMOs, like MMO is almost synonymous with grind, right?
Yeah.
Or so, as somebody who I don't like grinding in games, it just feels like work, right? And I can appreciate if like some aspects of like making a grind fun, right? There are games like I'm always a sucker. I like every couple of years, I always fall into a hole and get roped into some Pokemon game, and I do like the grind of like training a Pokemon.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not like entirely opposed to it, but is it even possible to make an MMO that doesn't require you to grind? Right?
I don't think so.
I can't even name one. I can't even think of one that doesn't have
Make
grinding.
an MMO FPS.
Which is Destiny.
Yeah, which is also super.
Oh,
grindy.
you still have to fucking grind. Shit.
Yeah.
Okay,
Not
never
so
mind.
much.
Okay, yeah, no
Like-
shot.
But I also think there can be a charm to the grind. Like recently I played a little bit of, like Sam and I talked about this yesterday, I've been playing a little bit of Elder Scrolls Online, and while there definitely is grind because that's still an MMO, like the focus is more so on the story. Like I hate grind that's fetch quests. I hate grind that it's like go kill 10 wolves in the forest and then come back and talk to me, and then I'm
Spare
going
me.
to tell you to go kill 20 more animals somewhere else and then come back and talk to me. Like that's not fun.
Yeah.
That
No,
to
or
me
even worse,
that's
it's
not
like
fun.
go kill this thing until you get the 1% or 0.1% drop item.
Right.
Right? That's even more heinous in my opinion. Top
Yeah.
off Destiny. But
At least Destiny
And
though-
RuneScape, yeah.
at least in Destiny though, it's like when you're grinding those enemies, most of the time they're through like fun strikes. At least I think they're fun.
yeah, the game's fun. I mean, like I appreciate that, and like for me with Pokemon, like again, I like training Pokemon. It's
Right.
something that I like to do just while I'm like watching a TV show I don't really care about.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, but I'm just trying to think like totally outside of like, you know, we talk about MMOs and like WoW and RuneScape kind of set the standard that you always have, you know, like you level up, you level your skills, you do these things, you do it over and over again, you get better, and then you.
Right.
I'm just curious if there's any like, if there could be an MMO which totally restructures that paradigm that doesn't do that.
Maybe. I mean, I don't know. There's a lot of MMOs I haven't tried. And I know there's a few on the horizon. Like there's that Ashes of Creation game that everyone's been talking about. But
Oh, I haven't heard of that.
yeah, that's like the probably most hyped MMO is Ashes of Creation, but it's been like Star Citizen. It's been in development for forever. So
Sure. Okay.
So if we're talking about grind, right? One of the rarest drops in RuneScape is to get this armor called, or weapon, it's combat shit called Third Age, and it's from Clue Scrolls, right? And depending on the Clue Scroll, you'll have like a different chance to hit that drop table. But that means you have to first get a Clue Scroll drop from a monster, which is anywhere from like 1 out of 50, 1 out of something to like maybe 1 out of 128. And then to hit this like specific, like say take this Third Age pickaxe, it is a 1 in 313,168.
Jesus
Oh my
Christ.
God.
So you'd have to grind till like the end of time to get that
Right.
fucking pickaxe.
But people do.
People do.
People fucking do.
And for
I
some
mean, maybe
people, that's the attractive nature of it too. To be like, I could be the one guy that has this. You know?
And
Yeah.
the I think the other attractive nature, I watched this guy called his name is Adam Line. He lives in the UK. He goes by Bodhi. He's adamant about saying every time.
Adamant.
Oh, haha, funny. He's adamant. Oh my God, he says a lot of like every single time that you kill this monster, you have the same exact chance to get that drop, and I think that's kind of what keeps him going. It's like knowing that it's same exact chance every single time to get that drop.
Yeah, I mean,
Wild.
I guess mindset, grind set, baby.
Mindset, grind set.
Sure.
Yep. I guess that's just something I can't do, and maybe that's why they like that, and
I
that's why
can't
games are
anymore
for everyone.
because
Yeah.
I have the attention span of a walnut,
Yeah.
which I never used to, but I'm just a fucking moron now. so.
Right. Well, I don't think you're a moron, but yeah, I think it's tough. It's become harder and harder for me. Like I feel like I have to. It's almost like if I want to get into a new game that doesn't immediately grip me, I have to put in like 15 to 20, 25 hours for it, and then it's like, oh fuck, I finally get it, you know, and then it's like,
Yeah.
then it's got me.
I completely agree with you. Like just in general, and I'm also like I always tend to be such a latecomer to games. I tend to then like end up gravitating towards games where my pals have been playing it for a while.
Mhm.
But then there comes the problem, like with what's the Valheim? That's the one that came out last year, right? Like big game, lots of people played it, lots of fun. Yeah, everyone liked it. I didn't get into it, but by the time I was ready to get into it, everyone had already like had their servers with their bases and their good top end gear and stuff, and it's impossible to hop in a game like that.
Yeah.
That's kind of what got me thinking about like I mean, obviously I love Spelunky. I've played a lot of Spelunky. I can pick up and hand anybody a controller, and anyone can play Spelunky, even if we're all garbage at it. But there's still like a level of progression that you get from playing Spelunky, just by becoming better at the game and understanding the game more. Or I think Elden Ring handled it the best, where you can just join your buddies, but you're just a lower level and you play with them. So I don't know. I'm hoping that more co-op games go in that direction, where it doesn't necessarily need you to be equally grinded, I guess,
Sure.
in order to play with your pals.
Yeah. Yeah, I think there's something to be said for the games that you can just jump in and play whenever, you know. I think like Rocket League's one of the great example of that.
Oh yeah, definitely.
You just hop in, fuck around, and like I'll never really uninstall Rocket League just because it's a game that I can easily just pick up and play, you know, and that my friends if we're crushing some brewskis late at night and it's like, fuck, you want to play some Rocket League? Hell yeah, I'll play some Rocket League. Like it's one of those games, and I think some of those games are getting fewer and harder to come by. But we got to move on because we still have all of 2022 to talk about, and we're not done with 2021 yet. Okay, moving on from the MMOs and the grind set mindset. So there in 2021, there was a class action lawsuit filed against Sony over the PlayStation 5 DualSense controller, complaining about, you fucking guessed it, the drift. Wow, look at the Joy-Cons made themselves. They use the same shit that they used to make Joy-Cons to make the PS5 controllers.
Tell me about it.
The filing alleges that, quote, DualSense controllers are equipped with effective joysticks that lead to drift issues, and Sony's conduct related to the issue is, quote, fraudulent, deceptive, unlawful, and unfair. So, yeah, I guess that it even gets to the newest consoles, the PS5s, which, spoiler alert, you still can't fucking get. Moving on from there. We talked about this a little bit. I'm going to move on from this point, actually. Moving on from that, Starfield was announced at the end of 2021 to be an Xbox exclusive, and Bethesda apologized for the exclusivity, but they can't do shit about it because Microsoft owns Bethesda. So, I don't know. If I was Microsoft, I probably would have made Starfield an exclusive too. That's just me, though.
I mean, you don't spend as much money as you do on Bethesda and then have your games be on PS5.
Right. I still think Elder Scrolls is going to be on PS5, and that's because like those Xbox execs who were part of this acquisition said that they're going to try to keep like the existing franchises that were non-exclusive and keep them non-exclusive. But I think a lot of the newer IPs that come from any of these new studios that they own are probably going to be exclusive. That's my guess.
Yeah,
but
I think you're right. But PC wins. PC gamers wins. Always win.
Just
PC Master Race. Woo!
Just get a PC, you fucking losers. All right, moving on from that. This is a list of some of the biggest games from 2021, and then we'll move on to our 2022 news. This is a non-exhaustive list, so if I forget anything, fucking go complain about it in the comments. I won't read them. Halo Infinite came out. New World came out. There's a new Ratchet & Clank game that came out, Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart. The Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl games came out. Those are, I don't want to say remakes, some also remasters. There are some nice quality of life improvements in those games, but decent. If you like Pokemon, you'll probably like those games. Far Cry 6 came out, was fucking bad. Forza Horizon 5 came out. I've heard that's pretty good. Super Mario 3D World and Bowser's Fury. Heard Bowser's Fury changed the game. Must experience if you are.
Dope as hell.
Yeah,
it was super good.
If you're a 3D Mario fan, that's a must play. It's just unfortunate. Here's the thing: I get Nintendo puts out so many quality titles. Do they like Bowser's Fury is going on over a year since it came out? I don't think it still needs to be $60. That's just me. But then again, Call of Duty Black Ops 3 and Call of Duty Black Ops 2 are still $60 on Steam. So
yeah.
I can't really complain much there. Resident Evil Village came out. Adam and I both really liked that game. The Monster Hunter Rise came out, really fun. Deathloop came out, didn't play that. Age of Empires.
I played some Deathloop.
Did you like
Deathloop? Was pretty good.
Nice.
I've been meaning to put more time into it. I'm waiting to get like my Steam Deck, which is another thing that was announced in 2021. But I'm waiting to get that because that's really what I want to play it on.
Shit, yeah, that was announced in 2021. I forgot about that.
Yeah, it's made by the folks who made Dishonored and Prey, and I like Dishonored, and I loved Prey. And Deathloop, I don't think is as good as Prey, but it's fun. Like, concept's good, voice acting is awesome, it's funny, it's neat, it's interesting. Gunplay is pretty good. The concept works pretty well. I don't pay $60 for it. If it goes on sale, if you see it cheaper than $20, yeah, I'd say it's worth a buy. It's fun.
Nice. Age of Empires 4 came out. That's on Game Pass. I would try it if you're a fan of the series. If you like those style of games, those RTSs, it's pretty fun. Metroid Dread was announced last year and came out of nowhere. Really good game. If you like, it is like, if you like Metroidvanias, well, Metroid is the mother of Metroidvanias.
Yeah, right.
Like the one that inspired them all. So play Metroid Dread, pretty fun. Returnal came out. It's this bullet hell exclusive for PlayStation 5 that looks really cool that I'll probably play sometime in the next 50 years when I finally get a PS5. Kena Bridge of Spirits came out. Don't know what the fuck that game is about. Apparently it's good.
Nope.
Life is Strange, True Colors. I know Life is Strange, I think, has kind of like a cult following. Never played any of those games. Not my style, but good for you if you like it. Another Marvel game, Guardians of the Galaxy, came out and apparently was better than Marvel's Avengers, but that was a pretty low bar to begin with.
Pretty easy to be better than that.
Yeah. We already talked about Valheim came out, was the fucking biggest game in the world for like 4 months. It Takes Two came out.
Popular.
Still came out.
Oh, okay.
And I think it's going to be I think it's coming out of early access soon. It's going to be on Game Pass here at the end of sometime this year. But yeah, It Takes Two is a great game. Love It Takes Two.
Yeah. Well, if you have a significant other or somebody who you would enjoy spending time with, you should play It Takes Two with them. It is a fantastic game.
1000%, especially if that person isn't necessarily well versed in video games, because it's incredibly accessible. It's a platformer through and through.
Well,
and it's a lot of puzzles too, but it's beautiful and it's easy to pick up.
It hits the nail on the head because it's super accessible without being like super easy, right?
Right. Or
I've played too many video games, and like, it's still not an easy game. But it's fun, it's engaging, it's charming, it's a lot. There's a lot of great adjectives that I'd use to, and it's on Game Pass, Adam. So
yeah.
Wow.
And the Hitman 3 came out, and so did Psychonauts 2. So those are like, oh god, most of the big games that that came out in 2021. How could I forget? Why did I not put that the Steam Deck was announced? Steam Deck was announced. I swear to God, I remember typing it somewhere, but it's
in there. I think we accidentally glossed over it, but yeah, okay. Steam Deck.
Oh yeah, right here. Valve announced the Steam Deck. Yeah, so the Steam Deck, if you don't know, is Valve's handheld device that plays games handheld from your Steam library. And from my understanding, it's fucking killing it. People are really liking their Steam Decks, and Valve is adding more support every day for more games, and they're trying stuff out. And it looks incredible. Like, I'm so excited to get mine. But again, it's one of those things where it's like, hopefully I'll get it by the end of this year. Hopefully.
I was watching some videos yesterday, and it looks like there's already like huge native emulator support on the Steam Deck. So I saw people playing shit like Breath of the Wild and Mario Odyssey and Mario Kart, and people have got their Xbox cloud streaming set up on their Steam Deck, so they're just streaming Game Pass games to their Steam Deck. It's just, I just want it. Just give me.
Yeah.
Just give me.
It's an impressive piece of hardware, especially for the cost. Like the fact that the entry level one is $400, and like you can, and like similar devices, like bootleg devices, go for over $1,000. Like it's crazy. So it's exciting.
Oh, yeah.
But that's pretty much everything that happened in 2021, and we are at about an hour. So, gentlemen, what do you think? Should we just call this episode and then make part 2?
Sounds like a good idea.
Yeah, let's do part 2.
All right, bet. All right. Well, thank you all so much for listening. This is part 1 of the, what did I want to call this episode? Oh, Hot Boy and Gamer Girl Summer or some shit like that. I don't fucking know. We're back. We're back. Thank you for listening to part 1, and part 2 should be out shortly.